What if a regenerative mutant with metal claws was stranded on Mars? Most people think healing means survival, but Mars is not a villain. Mars is a planet-sized death trap.
The first thing he'd notice is gravity. On Mars, he weighs only about 38% of what he does on Earth. He can move easier, but that does not mean he can survive. Then the real problem hits. Mars has almost no breathable oxygen. His lungs can move, his body can heal, but there is nothing useful to breathe. Without oxygen, blood oxygen crashes fast. The brain is the first major system to suffer. Healing can repair injury, but it cannot invent oxygen out of nothing. In real vacuum-like conditions, unconsciousness can happen fast, not because the body explodes, but because the brain runs out of oxygen.
This is where Mars wins the first round. His healing factor does not stop unconsciousness if the brain has no oxygen to run on.
Then the healing factor kicks in. It can repair damaged tissue, it can restore function, it can drag him back from the edge. But Mars is still causing the same damage every second.
He wakes up, but waking up does not solve the problem. His healing factor repaired the damage, but it did not change the planet. He can run. Mars' gravity even helps him move. But lower gravity does not give him air, water, warmth, or pressure.
As oxygen drops again, vision narrows, coordination fails. The brain does not care how tough the body is. It needs oxygen every second.
This becomes the loop. Collapse, heal, wake up, suffocate again. His body can recover, but Mars keeps reapplying the same damage.
Here's the problem. His healing factor is not fighting one injury. It is fighting the entire environment. Low pressure, carbon dioxide atmosphere, cold, dehydration, radiation, and no sustainable oxygen. And then Mars gets colder. The average temperature is around minus 63 degrees Celsius. It does not freeze him instantly, but it never stops pulling heat from his body.
One myth is that space or Mars would freeze him instantly. That is not accurate. But constant heat loss, no proper atmosphere, and no shelter eventually come another system his healing factor has to fight. Mars does not need monsters. Even the dust is dangerous. It is extremely fine, dry, and abrasive, and it can get into every seam, wound, joint, and exposed surface. The dust becomes a constant abrasion test. Small injuries close, new ones open. Healing works, but it is forced to spend energy non-stop. His best chance is not fighting Mars. It is finding shelter. A pressurized module, oxygen, heat, anything that stops the planet from killing him every second. This is where strength helps. His claws and reinforced skeleton can break open machinery, but strength only buys time. Science still decides if he lives. Inside, he gets shelter from wind and dust, but this module is damaged. Shelter without oxygen is only a slower version of the same problem.
An oxygen tank should be salvation, but empty life support is just metal. His healing factor cannot replace the basic chemistry of breathing. Even a mask does not matter without enough oxygen behind it. His body can repair damage, but it cannot run without fuel. For a moment, shelter slows the damage. No wind, less dust, slightly more warmth, but Mars still has another invisible weapon waiting outside. Earth protects us with a thick atmosphere and magnetic field. Mars does not. On Mars, radiation exposure is much higher, and over time it damages cells, DNA, and tissue.
Radiation is not one clean wound. It is invisible damage at the cellular level. His healing factor may repair some of it, but the question is whether it can keep up forever.
This is the real horror. He might keep coming back, but surviving is not the same as living. Mars can trap him in a cycle where he heals just enough to suffer again. If you like science-backed what-if theories, subscribe to After Theories. Drop a comment with the next character you want tested against real physics.
He cannot stay here. A damaged shelter buys time, but without real life support, Mars still wins.
Now the survival problem expands. No breathable air, no liquid water, no food, no stable heat, and every repair his body makes costs energy. Regeneration is not free. Biology needs resources: water, energy, oxygen, nutrients. On Mars, he is spending more than the planet gives him. This is the limit people forget. A healing factor is not magic. Every repair requires energy. If the environment keeps damaging him faster than he can restore resources, then comes the storm. Martian dust storms can cover huge regions and last for weeks. For him, that means lower visibility, more abrasion, colder exposure, and no escape.
Inside the storm, he is not just walking through dust. He is being sandblasted by an entire planet.
Eventually, Mars does not need to kill him quickly. It can bury him, freeze him, starve him, dehydrate him, and let the loop continue. But this is why the question is so interesting. He might not die easily. He might keep coming back. Night makes it worse. Temperatures can drop far below freezing. There is no fire, no atmosphere to hold warmth, and no comfort. His healing factor may reverse frost damage. It may repair cells. It may keep his heart going. But it cannot make Mars warm. Morning comes, and the loop repeats. Collapse, heal, stand up, suffer again. Recovery is not escape. Then he sees the only thing that changes the equation, a real habitat. Pressure, oxygen, heat, and sealed walls. This becomes a race, not against an enemy, against oxygen loss, cold, radiation, dehydration, and another blackout. He makes it to the airlock, but barely. This is the point where healing alone is not enough. He needs the environment to stop killing him. His claws finally matter. Against metal, he wins. Against Mars, he still needs technology. Now everything changes. Pressure returns, oxygen returns, heat returns. His healing factor finally gets a battlefield it can win on. This proves the answer. His power works best when the environment stops attacking every system at once. So could he survive Mars? Outside, only temporarily. His healing factor lets him last longer than a normal human, but without oxygen, pressure, heat, water, and protection, Mars eventually wins. The difference is not toughness. The difference is environment. Outside, he is trapped in a death loop. Inside, his healing factor can finally catch up.
Mars did not lose. He survived only because he found a way to stop Mars from touching him. He is not unbeatable. He is adaptable. And on Mars, adaptation means science, shelter, and life support, not just healing.
Final answer. Could he survive Mars? Outside, not forever. His healing factor keeps restarting the fight, but Mars keeps winning the environment. With shelter and oxygen, yes. Without them, he does not live. He loops.